Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the very first night here of the Victoris League of Legends Rival Series Spring 2022. I'm Infinite Dodge. I'm so happy to be joined tonight by Shogun and Kongman. How are we doing, guys?
Doing pretty good.
We're
Glad to
doing all
hear
right.
it. Glad to hear that. So, normally we would have a pretty epic pre-show planned out for you guys. We had bit of hiccups tonight getting that rolling, but in the future, do expect some really killer analysis from the big brains over here on VRS Thursdays. And just to jump right into it, for those of you who are not aware, VRS is a $1,400 prize pool tournament. We have 4 teams of 7 groups apiece competing. $1,000 goes to the winner of the whole shebang, and $400 for second place. We have a lot of great teams competing this split. And let's hear a little bit about some of our favorite teams to watch out for, including one we will be seeing tonight, Dorado Gaming Zeta, who won our New Year's kickoff tournament. What should we be looking for out of these guys?
For Dorado Gaming Zeta, just in general, since I don't know if this is the same exact team specifically that made it to semis last year. But if it is, I always like the banter that they bring. It's not too BM, but when they do bring that banter, they like to back it up, and I like that kind of competitive edge that they bring to the table. So gonna be excited to see how they're able to back up any banter that they have this split. And then of course other teams that may not be competing on stream tonight are ones like Moon Crew Gaming was one of my personal favorites watching them. They actually performed 2 splits ago really well. I believe they at least made it to playoffs. I think it was quarter semis that they fell short in though. So excited to see them play whenever we get the chance.
Yeah, absolutely the case. As far as Dorado Gaming Zeta's roster is concerned, mostly the same. We do actually see Shima, previously of Rising Tide Tsunami, coming over into mid lane there for Dorado Gaming. He was with them for the New Year's D4 Cap kickoff tournament, which, if you missed, you folks at home, was an absolute banger of an event. It was Dorado Gaming taking the whole thing in the finals against Limitless Sakura. And yeah, they just look really good all around. Definitely a bunch of spicy memers over on that team. So it'll be exciting to see how they come swinging out the gates here tonight. Speaking of swinging out the gates, I do have to ask, as this is a new segment we get to do this year on the Victorious Cast, let's get the predictions, guys. Who do we actually think is going to come out victorious in Victorious here tonight?
I definitely want to go ahead and say between the matchup of Dorado Gaming Zeta and Team Disco. I mean, as much as I would love to see Team Disco actually, throwing down some good dance moves on the Rift, I'm afraid that unfortunately, Dorado Gaming Zeta is just going to be the superior team out here, and I see a quick, swift 2-0 victory.
All
Yeah.
right. We have the Dorado 2-0 call. What about you, my friend Shogun over there? What do we think is going to be going down tonight?
Thinking something very similar with their roster. It is pretty solid, Dorado Gaming Zeta. I mean, if you just look at ranks alone, which isn't everything, but if I was only going off of that, I'd probably go ahead and say Dorado Gaming Zeta. If you look at the past performances of this team, though, which is more important to me, I just have to go with them again in a 2-0. But first week shenanigans are a very real thing. I think there's some room for an upset. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw out the 2-1 just to spice things up, but still Dorado Gaming Zeta favored.
That definitely makes sense. You got to consider both of those factors there. And then, as far as some other teams we should look at, not just to be excited for, but maybe to challenge across the league here with Dorado Gaming towards the top, do we have any picks around that area, or are we still waiting to see how things develop as the split goes on?
I have a little bit of a personal bias, but if we look over in Group B, I'm a big fan of the Oasis Esport Cloud. I've just always known about Oasis Esports for a while since one of my friends is one of their team members. So a little bit of personal bias, but I personally think that I will see them more than likely in semifinals.
Yeah, if I do remember correctly, they were actually finalists in the previous LRS. Of course, we did rebrand over the offseason from Legends to Victoris, so the now VRS was then the LRS. I do believe they did make LRS finals last split. Close match against Rising Tide, who is definitely my pick to watch here in VRS. Great organization, although they did lose a lot of firepower with Shima, their very, very good mid laner, actually moving over to Dorado Gaming Zeta. But yeah, so Oasis Esports Cloud, definitely a great team. I do believe they even 3-0'd or 3-1 that final against Rising Tide, so definitely a great pick to look out for here. Keep your eye on them as we do progress. And then what do we know about Disco? Because Dorado Gaming, I don't want to spend, focus all our time piling on them. Obviously, they're a great team, we can agree. But what sort of praises can we throw the way of Team Disco, so to speak? What is it that we're looking out for in terms of style from these guys?
Well, I know they competed last split. I don't know if I got the chance to cast them personally. I think if they were on stream, it was one of the weeks that I was out. But taking just a very quick look at their roster, it does seem like they're going to be focusing a lot on the ADC position. I can see a lot of good things coming out of Dario Lipa. I believe that's what that name is. A lot of games put in this season already, and someone who's that dedicated definitely want to look for some results there. So hopefully that'll end up being the case, but a lot of that's also going to come down to where the jungler is going to want to play towards. But looking at the type of champions that he plays, the Vayne, the Kai'Sa, a lot of these scaling ADCs that want to get the ball rolling early, having that jungler in the presence of the bot lane will make that easier. So if they
Yeah,
do a good job of that, I think they could really take off.
absolutely, absolutely. ADC definitely in a stronger position than we've seen in a while right now in the early goings of the season. Just out of curiosity, you said it's a lot of games played already. We've been in this season, what, 3.5 weeks, more or less? How many games is it?
He's up to 86 games right now.
I
He's got a
could never.
yeah, it's definitely not the most I've seen, but I mean it's more than I could put in that amount of time. So yeah, it's already pretty crazy.
Just touching on the current season we're in, especially with a patch hitting today, is there anything we're looking at, definitely in terms of affecting these scaling 80 carries or any sort of power picks? I should mention Zeri, who has come out today, is disabled. We will not be seeing her. She is not available for the teams. But are there any other changes we should be looking out for that might have an impact on this matchup or the league in general going forward?
I'll let you take that if you want it.
I really don't believe like too much. I know this is gonna be a hot take. I'm sure someone's gonna flame me in chat for this, but I'm pretty sure like this patch, not a whole lot has changed. So I feel like we're still gonna kind of be in the same meta as we have been for the past season. As you know, like little number changes can happen. This is day one of the patch, so I will probably be proved wrong tonight. But that's just half the fun of whenever a new patch drops and you're just forced to play on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely the case, as I do believe we are actually ready. The teams are ready and raring to go to kick off the split for us here. So, if there are no other final points to be made, I do believe we are ready to throw it on over to Champ Select.
Nothing from me. I am also very ready and very excited to get into game number one here.
All
Yeah.
right, boys, enjoy your cast. I'll see you on the other end of it.